This is Mr. White with another video for AP Calculus AB, Unit 1, Lesson 1. And we're looking at this rock breaking loose from the top of a tall cliff, and we're trying to figure out what is the instantaneous speed at 2 seconds. And we want to verify or confirm algebraically what we solved using a table. So we want to go with our equation f of t plus h minus f of t divided by h. And our function is 16t squared, so that f of t plus h, we're looking at 16 2 plus h squared minus 16 times 2 squared divided by h. And that is going to give us, all right, important to note also right here is that we've got binomial expansion. We're squaring a binomial, so a plus b squared equals a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. We don't want to forget that. So that gives us 16, 4, 2 squared is 4, plus 4h plus h squared minus 16 times 2 squared. 16 times 4 is 64. All that divided by h. Now up there in our numerator, we want to use our distributive property, so that we've got 64 plus 64h plus 16h squared minus 64 divided by h. We've got 64 and 64. Those two sum to 0. So we're left with 64h plus 16h squared divided by h. Next thing I want to do is divide out those h's. So we've got 64 plus 16h. Now that is going to be our instantaneous speed at 2 seconds. So at 2 seconds, we said that means h equals 0. That presented a problem for us because we could not divide by that delta t being 0 or delta t being h. We could not divide by that h being 0. But now that we have summed those 64s to 0, that left us with, in our numerator, two terms that have h, and in our denominator we had that h. We're able to divide that out. So now we're left with 64 plus 16h, and at 2 seconds h equals 0. So when we substitute that in for h, we've got 64 feet per second, the instantaneous speed at 2 seconds.